Romans 1 shows the world's current state stems from all people's rejection of God. In verse 18, it is written, "For the wrath of God is revealed from heaven against all ungodliness and unrighteousness of people, who through unrighteousness hold back the truth." Wrath, anger, punishment. What actions are being punished by God? Our ungodliness, we don't honor God. Our unrighteousness, we don't do what is right. Does God have a reason to be angry? The next 14 verses, Romans 1, verse 19 through the end of chapter 1, explain our progressive rejection of God, God's step-by-step removal of His presence from our lives out of respect for our choices, and the terrible sins to which we are now vulnerable because we no longer have His protection. Verse 19, "This is because that which is known about God is visible to them, for God has enlightened them." Verse 20, "For His invisible qualities, namely His eternal power and divine nature, have been clearly seen ever since the creation of the world in the things that have been made, so they are without excuse." Verse 21, "This is because, although they knew about God, they did not glorify Him as God, nor did they give Him thanks. Instead, they became foolish in their thoughts, and their senseless hearts were darkened." Verse 22, "They claimed to be wise, but they became foolish." Verse 23, "They exchanged the glory of the imperishable God for the likenesses of an image of perishable man, of birds, of four-footed beasts, and of creeping things." Verse 24, "Therefore God gave them over to the lust of their hearts for uncleanness, for their bodies to be dishonored among themselves." Verse 25, "It is they who exchanged the truth of God for a lie, and who worshipped and served the creation instead of the Creator, who is praised forever. Amen." Verse 26, "Because of this God gave them over to dishonorable passions, for their women exchanged natural relations for those that were unnatural." Verse 27, "Likewise the men also left their natural relations with women and burned in their lust for one another. These were men who committed shameless acts with men and received in themselves the penalty they deserved for their perversion." Verse 28, "Because they did not approve of having God in their awareness, He gave them up to a depraved mind, for them to do those things that are not proper." Verse 29, "They have been filled with all unrighteousness, wickedness, covetousness, and malice. They are full of envy, murder, strife, deceit, and evil intentions." Verse 30, "They are gossips, slanderers, and God-haters. They are violent, arrogant, and boastful. They are inventors of evil things, and they are disobedient to their parents." Verse 31, "They have no understanding. They are untrustworthy, without natural affections, and unmerciful." Verse 32, "They understand the regulations of God, that those who practice such things are deserving of death. But not only do they do these things, they also approve of others who do them." Man's first bad choice was not honoring or thanking God. The consequences, foolish thinking and darkened hearts. Man's second bad choice, exchanged reflecting God's image for reflecting images of other men and animals. Consequences, God gave them over to lust and uncleanness. The people's response, their bodies were dishonored by each other. Man's third bad choice, exchanged truth for a lie, worshipped and served created things rather than the Creator. Consequences, God gave them over to dishonorable passions, homosexual lust, and other lust. Possibly, people's response exchanged natural relationships for unnatural same-sex relationships and committed shameless acts. Man's fourth bad choice, did not want God in their awareness. Consequences, God gave them up to a depraved mind for them to do improper things. People's response or further consequences, unrighteousness, wickedness, covetousness, malice, envy, murder, strife, deceit, and evil intentions, gossip, slander, God-hating, violence, arrogance, and boasting, inventing evil, rebellious, and so on. Man's fifth bad choice, doing these things deserving of death, and approving of others doing these things deserving of death. consequences, wrath of God being revealed against godlessness and unrighteousness of people.